Hey guys, RossieBoy19 back on the Horoscope 101 channel. It is TV Horror Week, so that kind of means, I think, James said at the start of the week that it can be TV shows that are maybe not like, they don't have to be directly horror, but as long as they have horror elements to it, like shows like Dexter, things like that maybe have horror elements to it, but are not necessarily, like the main theme isn't necessarily horror. But anyway, for me, if you are a subscriber to my main channel, this will come as no shock whatsoever what I have chosen. It is the one and only, the absolutely amazing, the still is an absolute classic, Joss Whedon's 1997 absolute amazing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, David Boreanaz, Alison Hannigan and Nicholas Brendon. And one of the best shows ever. Now I'm going to talk very briefly and show you this really cool edition. This is a really cool edition. This has got a book of, it's not just episodes guys, but it's kind of little facts about Buffy, things like that. And I've got this really cool box set of season 1. There we go. And it folds out into that. You've got the discs and all that. So yeah, anyway. So Buffy for me isn't just a TV show. I watched Buffy when I was very young, more or less when it started in 1998. I know it started in 97, but in the UK it started in 98. And I've watched it more or less ever since it started, and it's really been a show that I grew up with. So I really love the characters, love the story, and Joss Whedon's someone that I really admire, because I really got inspired to become a writer and become, a creator of horror movies and horror TV shows because of him. And I really think that a lot of the stuff that I write in my own, personal life, I think is all down to Buffy, really, and something that I think is really unique about this show, which it's done all the time now, but for at the time was, something that I think is what's so popular about the show is, up until this point in horror movies, we were seeing this young blonde girl getting chased and killed sometimes, or getting stalked, chased and tortured by, these creatures, whether it's Ghostface and Scream, or whether it's, Dracula, or whether it's, like werewolves. But in this, it's the blonde girl chasing the monsters, and that's what I think is really unique about Buffy. And that it kind of, not just, because you've got Xander, you've got Willow, I think for guys and for girls, you've got kind of characters that you can really relate to, because underneath all the action scenes, you've got a foundation of friendship, where you've got foundations of them growing up, them dealing with high school, them dealing with college, and I think that that's what makes it a really powerful show, when you don't just have a show about, sci-fi about this young girl killing these, creatures of the night, as they're called sometimes in Buffy. You've got friendships, you've got humour, you've got drama, you've got romance, you've got everything that you could possibly want in one show, and I think Joss Whedon did such an amazing job of this. Now I will say that I love Buffy as a whole, but my 3 favourite seasons, well, I can't give it away, my favourite seasons are seasons 1 to 3. I felt that they were the darkest, they were the ones where you're still getting to know the characters, and I think that for Buffy especially, she really shows who she is in those 3 seasons, and I really think that her relationship with Angel really set her up as a character for the full time. Angel got his own spin-off, in case you don't know. Angel, played by David Boreanaz, who is now in Bones, he got his own show. So I think after he left in season 3, but he made appearances in seasons 4 and 5, and then I think in 7, 4 and 5, I'm pretty sure. Maybe, I don't know if he was maybe in 6. Not sure, but anyway, he made appearances, and then also characters from Buffy made appearances in Angel. I know that Buffy made 2 appearances in season 1, Willow made an appearance, Faith made well, Faith was actually in quite a kind of recurring character in the show. I know that Oz made an appearance, I'm pretty sure that's it. And Cordelia also went to Angel for kind of full regular character. But overall, I really just admire it. I really love and respect this show for everything that it's done for TV, for the vampire genre, and I'm actually really grateful that, because despite my hatred for Twilight, if it wasn't for Twilight, I don't think that Buffy would have kind of came back into the mainstream kind of limelight. And you know, now that we've got things like Vampire Diaries and True Blood, they can't really live up to Buffy, but I think that even Twilight has a lot to thank, has Buffy to thank for a lot of, you know, of why they're here. You know, because you know, even in Vampire Diaries, they make subtle jokes to do with Buffy. You know, like some of the characters will ask certain questions, and I think in an early episode of the Vampire Diaries, I remember someone asking a question to one of the vampires, and they say, "Why'd you ask that?" And she went, "Oh, I seen it in Buffy the Vampire Slayer." So even in that, which is a modern, well, Buffy's still modern, but like a more recent TV show, they're still referencing Buffy. In The Big Bang Theory, this recent season 6, there's an episode more or less dedicated to Buffy where one of the characters is trying to make another character like Buffy and get into Buffy and kind of make her see why Buffy's so popular, kind of thing. And I loved that. I loved it. A show that I love is trying to more or less promote another show that I love. But for me, Buffy's something that I don't think I'll ever not like or not love. It's a show that I think anyone can like. You can, whether you like it for the action, whether you like it for the drama, whether you like it for the romance, whether you like it for the comedy, it's got something for everyone. And it's got a character for everyone. You know, I feel like I really relate, well not relate, but if I had to pick a character that I most like, I think it would have to be a blend between Xander and Oz, just because I've got that kind of awkwardness of Oz, but I feel like in certain situations I can be basically, and if I'm put in an awkward situation, I'm kind of sarcastic, kind of like Xander. I know that you guys haven't seen that, but I actually am. I'll make inappropriate jokes at the wrong time and things like that, you know, so I really feel like, so, but also something that I found really good is that throughout the show, you know, the three main characters, Buffy, Willow and Xander, they go through changes in their friendship, like any friendships do. But something that really stood out to me in the very last episode of Buffy in season 7 was a scene that I found very powerful and actually very touching, and something that I think really established the show right there in that scene to what it was. And in fact, I'll talk about this first. It's a scene where you've got the four main characters in a circle. You've got Buffy, Willow, Xander and Giles, and they're just talking about absolute nonsense, you know, nothing that's relevant to what's going on. But then, you know, Giles leaves, they walk down the corridor together, the three best friends. Willow separates from them, Xander and Buffy are holding hands, they continue. Xander then leaves her, and she continues on. And I really feel like that was a kind of, you know, showed an evolution of how, you know, it started, the four of them together, and then it kind of then went on to show that, you know, through the series they got stronger individually, even though they're the strongest together. And I really, that's just how I've seen that scene, but I thought that was really unique, and whether they meant to do that or not, but I just thought that was a really powerful scene. And then the fact that you had Faith, who, in case you don't know Buffy, Faith is played by Eliza Dushku, who I'm absolutely in love with, in case anyone didn't know. And she comes into, after being an angel, she comes back into Buffy, and her and Buffy make amends, because, long story, they hated each other, then they didn't. That's basically all you need to know. And she's another Slayer as well, and she basically comes into Buffy to help Buffy defeat this big evil things that they need to face. And I really like that. I really like, and then Angel also makes an appearance. So I kind of feel like you've got all the best characters that made Buffy what it was, you know, because at one point, all of my favourite characters were in the one season. You know, you had Oz, you had Xander, you had Buffy, obviously, you had Faith, Angel, you had them all in the one season, which is season 3. Which I think, in my opinion, is the best season. Season 3, for me, was a very, very, very great series. Not just for me, but for the show. Because it really established itself as, you know, a show that wasn't afraid to take risks. You know, the season 2 final shocked me. I can remember back when I watched it, and now when I watched it I must have been 99 I'm guessing, or 2000. I would have been 9 or 10. No. No, 8 maybe. 8 I was. 7 or 8. And I remember watching this and thinking, even back then I was like, you know, got so hooked to it and so gripped into this storyline. And I just thought that season 2 was very powerful, but then season 3, I think it was season 3 that really established this as, you know, a kind of horror programme. Because season 2 started getting very dark, very sinister. A lot of the episodes were about Buffy having to deal with the fact that, you know, that, you know, someone that she loves is actually against her now, and then the fact that she is more or less alone, even though her friends try and do everything that they can, she's alone. And I think that the show took a bit of a darker turn when, you know, they made Buffy leave and come back in season 3, and everything's kind of more or less changed. She comes back home, her friends have changed, relationships have changed, her relationships with her two best friends has kind of lost something. Her relationship with Giles has lost something, and ultimately her relationship with Angel has suffered because of the stuff that happened in season 2. And obviously in Buffy it's a supernatural show, so things are way blown up and things, but I think there's a lot of realism within Buffy that I think is why it's so popular. But anyway, guys, I have spoken for nearly 15 minutes, so I better wrap this video up. Like I say, highly recommend this. It's one of my favourite shows of all time, if not my favourite. But, you know, definitely recommend it. If you've not watched Buffy, definitely check it out. It is such an amazing show, and I will see you all very, very soon. See you guys.